The Independent National Electoral Commission's decision to approach the Court of Appeal in Abuja for an order viewing the conduct of the February 25th presidential election has generated reactions and questions on the integrity of the recently held polls. INEC said the request was predicated on the need to reconfigure the beavers used for the presidential election ahead of governorship and State House of Assembly election. Good evening, this is Nigeria Now on Equa.
I'm great. Happy International Women's Day.
Yeah, that's true. Wish you the same. Good to have
you.
You know, it's important that to celebrate women for the fact that they have contributed immensely to the growth and development of the nation. And people will tell you that where women are giving support, are giving the courage, of course, that nation, that state, that country, wherever it is going to blossom. And no wonder when the woman is absent in the home, the impact is being felt. And we celebrate every woman out there, and we say, congratulations to you. Keep the faith, keep being strong, keep standing strong. Sele Elisha Dasham, still on 2023 election. Lots of reactions, and people are heading to court. You recall that the Labour Party as well as PDP appeal for an order to inspect the materials, especially amidst the challenges that they encounter with which they talked about technical glitches, and yet a winner was announced, but so we want to inspect. Court actually granted that order, and while people are waiting to see what the court is going to say about it, and while people are looking at the governorship election as well as the State House of Assembly election that is to come up 11th of March, which is this Saturday, even though some election as well as the National Assembly, they are faulting the process, especially the fact that INEC even went against the Electoral Act, the provision that says results were going to be transmitted, from the polling units to the server in real time, and people were test the results on the IREF, as the INEC result viewing portal, and that generated a lot of issues. Even at the Coalition Center, representative of Labour Party as well, made an observation that why are we not seeing the information from the beavers? Why is it just manual collation? It means that no change has been made. This is what has been we've been seeing for years, and just while people are waiting, that's against the one that was given to Labour Party as well as PDP. They are seeking now for an application to Assembly. INEC are saying we need to reconfigure the beavers for the election, and some people are already agitating against that, because you recall that what the Labour Party and PDP want to do is to inspect those materials. So if these materials, these beavers are being reconfigured, it's in the process of reconfiguring, you might tamper with the setting, wipe out information and all of that. So people have been reacting. So if INEC are giving that permission to actually reconfigure, what is the evidence that Labour Party and then PDP are actually saying? Some IT experts that pleaded on anonymity, saying that INEC should not be giving that appeal should not be granted, because when they do that, there's no even need for them to reconfigure, because the same information that is vital, I think, that was used for the presidential election accreditation, the information and all of that, if they're giving that permission, they are going to wipe all of that down. So people have been reacting. I don't know what's your take on this.
Joyce, this is a question of trust, integrity and confidence in the commission, because if we're going to go back to what INEC told us, the back and forth that they had with the president before the Electoral Act was being signed. We know, the beginning of last year was a back and forth, and they promised Nigerians, they assured Nigerians that everything is going to work as planned, that they want to use the electronic means of transmission. And we're going to look what are the uses of these beavers, which is part of the electronic means of transmission, is to identify and accredit voters, fingerprint and facial recognition before voting. And then we now have the the result viewing portal, where it's ideal that straight from there you'll be able to have access to every polling unit, the number of accredited voters, so you know which party is leading and all of this. And this is what everybody was expecting. But then we saw during the presidential election, that was not what actually happened. A lot of people found it very difficult to access the result viewing portal because we weren't able to get all of this. So of course, in a time where there were observations that people made during the elections and even after the election, the aftermath of that was when we saw people, actually agitating. We expected INEC to do more, the body language of the commission as a whole, what you promised Nigerians versus what we're getting and all of that. Of course, people begin to question, why is INEC asking to reconfigure the beavers? Of course, the Labour Party and also the PDP need this evidence to be able to show that, because they are of the opinion that the election did not go as planned. They said there was rigging, they said there was tampering of results and all of that. So if these beavers are being refigured, of course, you are wiping evidence, you are wiping so many things that these opposition parties that feel things didn't go in favor of them. Of course, they will feel being cheated. And that's why we have IT experts coming out, lawyers from various parts actually, adding up their voice that this does not add up in any way. If INEC is asking for these beavers, I mean, they're going to tamper with what is inside. It's either they get another beavers that they will use for the election, which we know presently, as it's looking presently, I don't know if INEC have another beavers that they are planning to use, because we are just having 3 days to the gubernatorial election. And if this is not being done, people are already speculating. It's on the papers, comments are flying on social media that there might be likely that they might postpone this governorship election.
Already, it is because of the fact that INEC insisted that if the courts grant still uphold the order of granting OB and then PDP, is going to affect its preparation of the gubernatorial election as well as that of the State House of Assembly. No wonder the speculation. But my concern in all of this is the fact that wasn't there preparation? Because for eventualities such as this, before the election, the INEC chairman said there are actually windows to accommodate all of this, where people feel aggrieved, where election is not done properly, and all of the observations were raised, even during collation. And INEC said noted. So people expected them to react on the observations, but the INEC chairman went ahead with the announcement. So now that the INEC are saying it might affect their preparation, like they need to reconfigure it before the election. As we speak, they're in court. You get?
Of course. So, Joyce, if you're going to actually look at this whole thing, like a lot of things is at stake here. Because it's either INEC is being given the permission to go ahead to get these beavers, and then this evidence is being tampered, or it's either these opposition parties have already gotten the evidence they need, and then they can go ahead to give what INEC the beavers. If that is not the case, then I'm afraid that presently, as it looks right now, I do not know the way forward for INEC to actually get these beavers and refigure it. Because from my understanding and from my finding, Joyce, this is not the first time we're using these beavers. We used these beavers in 2021 during the election in Delta State. We used it last year during the election in the FCT. And then we noticed that there were some hitches left, right, and center. Nigerians expected that INEC should be able to have taken all of this into cognizance and say, okay, if these are the hitches we've been facing, let's be able to rectify it. Of course, I know the INEC chairman can be everywhere. He relies on the rec to do what is expected of them. So if there was any malpractice in this election, it goes down to the state level, because that is where they tampered with it. But presently, right now, they want to refigure it. Of course, we need to do this gubernatorial election because it's very important. It's equally as important as the presidential election. So right now, I'm just looking forward to what INEC is going to do. Today was supposed to be the hearing coming from the appeal court, the tribunal, whether they will give them the go-ahead or not. So I'm just hoping, I'm just looking forward to the fact that INEC will be able to rectify this, because if we're saying that that there were hitches before, if all of these hitches were being rectified, we would not be where we are right now. There'll be no need for any opposition party to say that things didn't go in favor of them. There'll be no need of saying that we encounter some technical hitches and that is why. There'll be no need of saying that some elderly people or even young people, the beavers weren't able to recognize their face and that is why they're unable. Nobody will be disenfranchised because we had people who were being all of that. So apart from the fact that INEC even need these beavers to be, you know, to be reconfigured, how sure are we that all of these hitches are being rectified for the gubernatorial election?
Some IT experts are of the opinion that if INEC are granted and allowed like to go ahead with the reconfiguring, it's going to tamper with the evidence that the opposition parties are actually looking for, and it will further compromise the pending litigation that has been submitted, and which we know the litigation is on the controversial pools, according to the Nigerians that have been expressing their thoughts on the process. And you know, also when it's compromised the litigation, it's going to worsen the credibility of the entire process. And the problem is that for me, I don't think if INEC needs to reconfigure this for the next election, if this election has to wait for Nigerians to see the reality of the presidential election, because people are expressing different opinions. We respect the fact that there's calmness, but there's also an unusual silence. Already some are resorting to the streets, like for protest. Labour Party, PDP, have been protesting, like they started the protests yesterday, and you saw how the presidential candidate of PDP was saying that it's going to continue. Like, it's their right to protest peacefully, you get. So there is also an unusual silence on the part of other political parties. You won't know what the plans are, you get, even though they have resorted to court, which is applaudable. Like, so we don't want a situation whereby Nigerians will develop zero confidence in the system. If allowing these aggrieved parties to inspect the materials at the end of the day is going to prove a point. I think it is important. It is very important. The spokesperson, like one of the lawyers that was speaking for the Labour Party, talking about Onyechi Ikpezu, said that the essence of the application was to enable them to extract data that is embedded in the beavers, which represented the actual result from the polling unit. And of course, going by the Electoral Act and the election procedure, you know that that was the essence of the introduction of the beavers accreditation, and so result can be transmitted in real time. So the beavers have the information of accredited voters, and you know that once the votes is like the number of votes is ahead of the number of accredited voters, then that means that result is not actually the true reflection of what actually happened there. So for them, it is the data that is embedded in the beavers that is going to show the reflection of the whole process. So if people are going to fail in a process that is transparent, I think they will go down honorably. Maybe by now you'll be hearing congratulations, celebrations on the street. But if the process is being tampered with, like is not transparent, it's going to worsen the whole situation. And I think it's not good. I don't even know right now how the international world are looking at Nigeria. You get. But I think it's important that we ensure we fix the process. If there are hitches, INEC admitted to technical challenges. Even though amidst the admitting of the technical challenges, they went ahead to announce like a winner. And that no wonder these aggrieved parties are saying, no, we need to inspect, we need this data that way. And today already they're in court, and Labour Party are saying, yes, we are here to hear the ruling of the appeal court, because INEC are saying they need to reconfigure it. And I just don't know what baffled me the most is the fact that INEC are saying that it's going to affect the coming election. Like allowing these political parties to inspect this material might affect the preparation for the next election. For me, it looks like cheap blackmail.
You know, if you ask me, Joyce, I think typically right now, for any layman, any Nigerian, what they will sense from all of this body language coming from INEC is mistrust. Because already Nigerians have been complaining on the fact that things are not moving as they expected from the just concluded presidential election. And right now, with INEC asking to reconfigure this beavers, is actually signaling another thing. Presently, if you ask for my personal opinion, Joyce, on this, I think that INEC, they can actually postpone this election. Let these political parties actually, cross-check these beavers. Whatever information they have, they should have it, so that with that, everybody will know that this election was credible, was fair, was free. Nobody actually was being stepped on because another party needs to. Because already it's looking, the data seems not to be matching up. We're seeing that there was overvoting in some certain states, some certain polling unit. The accredited voters does not match with the result we're having. So I think that if INEC need to postpone the gubernatorial election, then they should do that. But let us just hear whatever the appeal court is going to say about the story. I believe in the justice system, and I believe that they will do the right thing for this opposition parties.
Sele, we continue to see that before the election, all eyes were on INEC and the security agents. Now all attention have gone to the judiciary. Like people are looking at them to do the needful. And I've seen situations where they actually spoke about the fact that they are not standing in alliance with any political party or any individual. The right thing will be done. And so Nigerians are actually looking up to them to get back the confidence that for some people have lost, even though while some people are aggrieved, some people are actually celebrating because the system actually favored them. But what we are actually talking about, like I will always emphasize, we are not against whoever emerged as winner, but how did the person emerge? If you must be called your excellency, the process must be excellent. If we want to build this nation, if we want this nation to be great, then it must be based on righteousness, because it's only through righteousness that the throne can be established. So if things are not done right, then you can't expect growth or development. So if that's what I was saying earlier on, if there is need for people for the election to be, because right now people are just, oh, will it be postponed, will it not be postponed? It's just few days to the gubernatorial election. If need be for people to see clearly transparency of the whole information that is in the beavers, I think that's the essence of democracy. So we are not demonstrating craze, it is democracy, and because it is government of the people, let's see it being in place. You shouldn't derive people that opportunity to exercise their civic responsibility. So I think INEC should not be making statements that will look like cheap blackmail, because people are already suspecting INEC. Just few days to the gubernatorial election, you are asking for reconfiguring. You call earlier on, I say when you want to reconfigure something, it's like wiping out,
take like about
resetting it. It's more like, so you begin to ask questions. If you do all of that, what happens to the accreditations that were captured in the beavers? You get. So a lot of questions are coming fast. Some people right now will be doubting the fact, will be asking questions like, why will these beavers, at this point, the beavers should even be with INEC? You get. So a lot of questions are coming, especially trust issues. People are not, don't even trust the integrity of the beavers, the fact that it's still with INEC right now because of statements such as this. So I think that what is more important right now, while we await the court's ruling, it is important that the needful be done, because right now, talking about the gubernatorial election, some are expressing fear. Maybe what played out in the presidential election is what is going to be replayed, and no one that they want. The inspection should be carried out before the reconfiguring. So, well, the needful should be done. Already, we are seeing protests on the street. Atiku-led protests of the PDP. And what baffles me is the fact that I'm seeing the APC, that's the governing party, and the party that were declared winner, attacking this PDP for protesting. Like, it is their right to actually protest peacefully, you get. So I don't expect that at a time like this, APC, through their different spokesmen, will just be making mockery statements against the presidential candidate of the PDP and then the supporters. I think this is the point where, for me, APC need to be careful with the kind of the spokesperson and all of that. Need to be careful. Already, they are also talking about heading to the court as well, and also an order against the inspection of the materials too. Everybody's heading to court. Well, all eyes right now are on the court. But for me, I think this moment is not a time to start attacking anybody because they are actually protesting. Think about it. What if the table turned? What will happen? We've had instances in the past where APC resorted to the streets.
Of course, they were also on the street. You know, I saw it on the papers. APC were on a solidarity protest also. And just like you say, I don't think this is the right time for the present president-elect to actually, you know, be having some back and forth with the present opposition party, that is the PDP. I saw one of the comments he made which states that he said that the PDP should retire back to Dubai and concentrate his time for all of that. These are some of the speeches. And then it's really not appealing for Nigerians in a time where we're trying to see peace, in a time where we're trying to say that everybody should call his followers to order. And you know, if you ask me, Joyce, I'll say from the very beginning, when we started these political campaigns, there were guidelines that INEC gave, talking about I think backlashing of each other. You should control your followers, but we didn't see that being followed. Even after the peace accord, this was not followed. We had a second peace accord before the presidential election, and now we're seeing all of this. And you know, there was a time I said that how I wish there was a fine that they were made to pay, or you know, a sanction that they will face. Maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to see that people are being you know, being very careful with their utterances. Of course, you have the right to go to the street. We can see that the PDP have said that if they can keep going for this, you know, protests day after day, that they are not stopping this protest until whatever it is that they need to be addressed will be addressed. And the protest will not stop them from going to the court to also ask for illegal redress on things that are happening. So if the PDP feel that is the best way, they want to, you know, pour their grievances on what is happening, as far as it's peaceful, as far as that talks do not hijack it, because most time this is the fear that when we have a protest, talk somewhere or somebody somewhere will actually take advantage of this protest, and then before we realize it, there's fire on the mountain. But so far we've not heard any case of anybody. In fact, I'm very happy. We saw in the paper where we saw the issues where about 200 cyber attacks were being arrested as a result of the precedents. And I applauded the federal government for that. You know, this is a nice step. This is the right step in the right direction for us to be able to address all of this. With this, we'll be able to see that for the gubernatorial election, we'll not hear things. That is, if INEC will actually listen to all of these observations that are being raised, we'll not have a need for any party going to the street. If you even if you saw the clothes they were on black to actually show that things are not moving well as they want it to be. So I just believe that, just like I said, it's still in relation with the issue of trust and confidence. If we want to have confidence in the system, all we are appealing is that the commission should do what is expected of them.
That's true.
All we are asking is that if you want trust, if you want integrity, because integrity is at the heart of all of this. So INEC just need to, you know, let it not look like anybody is attacking the body. No, we applauded them for all they did, sticking to their word. But so far, some things seems to be left unchecked. And I hope that even if the beavers are being given to them at the end of the day, they should rectify whatever wrong is it. They should right their wrongs right at the end of the day. I think this is the only way you can earn the trust of Nigerians, because as it is presently, some Nigerians are not happy with the way things are moving, and that can even affect voter apathy. But we've been, you know, encouraging everybody to turn out if the gubernatorial election is holding on Saturday, which we've not heard any announcement of any postponement. So as it is right now, the election is holding, but people should just remain calm. People should just be peaceful, and then if anything is not going as you expect, we've been saying this over and over, is to just seek for a legal, you know, redress on all of that, and let's just trust the system that they will do what is expected of them to do at the end of the day.
Thank you so much, Celia. Like, I was just wondering, same INEC that is seeking to reconfigure are yet to explain to Nigerians the reason for the technical glitches that they had during the transmission of results to IREF. Well, Nigerians are watching. I think that's very important, that leaders should know, and INEC should know, the world should know, like they should know that the world, Nigerians are actually watching them, and we should not turn our democracy to demonstration of grace. Let democracy be democracy, and let's build this nation on good foundation. I think that way the Nigeria we desire will come to pass. Thank you so much for doing this with me, Sele. And to our viewers out there, thank you so much for staying with us on today's edition of Nigeria Now. Until we come your way tomorrow, same time, you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.